Hunting the Legend is yet another found footage Bigfoot movie. I know they do this because it's cheap and it usually makes a buck, and to be honest, it's not fair to just dismiss it because we've seen this style done so many times. Let's go in with a clear head, pretend we haven't seen 30 other found footage Bigfoot movies, and give it a fair shot. It all starts out with this kid, Chris. He's out hunting with his dad and he hears a loud roar and shots fired. Chris runs to see what happens and his dad is gone. Only a rifle and a large footprint remain. Now Chris is all grown up and he hasn't forgotten about his father's mysterious death. And, of course, he blames, who else? Bigfoot. So he gathers up a small team consisting of his best friend Jeff and his girlfriend Hannah to hunt down the elusive creature. First things first, they need to stock up on some guns. They stop by this sketchy guy's underground bunker and get everything they need. They also rent a dog to help them in their search. This dog is the best part of the movie, and for a little bit it's just them showing off how well behaved she is. Before they head out into the woods, they talk to some of the locals. It seems everyone has a Sasquatch story to tell. Eventually, they get a lead on a guy who has a cast. They talk to him and get to see it, and he informs the group of an old man that lives deep in the woods that actually lives with the creatures. So, this is their first destination. They do eventually find his cabin, and he is not happy to see them there at all. But he eventually invites them in, or more like orders them inside. They talk about why they're there, and the old man says he's seen them before. He laughs at them for only having 2 guns. Then suddenly, they hear a noise outside. The old man goes to take a look and is attacked. The kids go running back to their camp, but now it's dark, and they're stuck there for the night. Jeff and Hannah want to go home, but in the end, they know Chris really wants this. So they stick with him. They take shifts at night watching camp, and that's when they get their first glimpse at the big guy. Jeff is sleeping while he's supposed to be on guard, and in the background, you can just barely see something walk by. The next morning, everyone is freaking out and wants to go home. But Chris convinces them to stay just one more night. But now he needs to get his evidence in the next 24 hours, and the pressure is getting to him. He's yelling at everyone and just in general being a prick. Hannah and him fight, and you can tell they're just trying to make this like the Blair Witch Project. And it doesn't add anything to the story, but it makes you hate Chris. Now, in the dark, the dog starts freaking out. She leads them to a girl hanging upside down in a tree. The sound guy hears something in the woods, and he makes a beeline out of there. They hear some roars, and everyone splits up. Chris and Hannah make it back to the cabin, and Chris gives Hannah the gun, then goes off and looks for Jeff. I would think he's gonna need that gun out in the woods, but okay. While he's out there, Hannah accidentally shoots the sound guy. Good job. Then she's taken by something. Chris is all alone in the woods. He starts yelling and shooting like a crazy person, and then he too is attacked. We hear a creepy voice speaking a Native American language that, when translated, says, and if that's not scary enough, we see the old man hang up the body of the sound guy and then ring a dinner bell. In the end, Hunting the Legend falls in with all the other found footage Bigfoot movies. Nothing really sets it apart besides maybe that creepy language at the end. Most of this movie was just them fighting in the woods, and it gets boring quick. If this was maybe 45 minutes to an hour, okay, but they tried to stretch it to be a full-length movie with just too much filler. I do like the fact that they had a dog to help them out, although she didn't really do that much. And yes, she was killed off screen. I thought I'd spare you hearing that. I liked the old man. He was at least funny for yelling at them for being so unprepared. But by far, the worst part was the acting. I thought at first maybe, just maybe, this was going to be a documentary about some kids that went missing in the woods. But then I saw the kids and their acting and I knew better. If you haven't already seen this genre done to death, you might like Hunting the Legend. But for most people, I would say stay away. I give Hunting the Legend 1.5 sketchy underground gun bunkers out of 4.
It's probably gonna sound a little crazy, but we're actually looking for what people would call Bigfoot.
Bigfoot.
I know.
Maybe you don't need as much ammo as you think. I don't think you're gonna see him.